All right. Hey, how's it, everybody? It is right around 5 p.m. West Coast time. I'm going to call it 2 p.m. Hawaii time. And I'm going to say maybe it's 8 p.m. on that there East Coast and 7 p.m. for our Central Time folk. I am Mad Statter. This is Chatter with Statter. And this right here is Mr. Dusty. Mr. Dusty saying hello to everybody. He decided that now was the time he needed his loves. And so I said, now is not the time, my friend. And he said, oh, but it is. 'Tis the time. And so we'll see what we can do with Big Boy here while everybody else is in the chatterbox saying, hi there, Dusty. Yes, everybody's saying hi there, Dusty. So let's see here. We have got Kenny from the Cove saying, aloha, Statter and Dusty. We've got Mama Sean in. Shock letting everybody know the Skadooly. Looks like E-Music is also in the house. Let's see here. Hold on. Mama Sean also in the house. Are you ready to get down now? All right. There we have it. And let's see. Mama Sean, Gina Gamba. And let's see here. More Mama Sean's. Being all human stuff, which is really weird because she's in Arizona. All right. There we have it. We've got the Statterbox crew. Fantastic, y'all. So, I've only got a couple things to talk about today, and none of them are important at all. But one of them does have to do with history that you may or may not know about. I was surprised to learn that one of my friends had never heard of this particular situation. And we'll talk about it for a little bit, but then we're going to talk about something that is even a bigger situation than the little situation. But everybody, I thought, knew about the little situation, even though there was a bigger situation that nobody knew about. And I know that that makes no sense to you guys, but I will explain to you what it is that I'm talking about after it is that I say, hey, Terry in Scotland, thanks for coming in on the raid. It looks like we have got 4 people coming in with Terry. I'm guessing Katie's Aura is one of them. I am going to guess that Terry is another one. And then it looks like Pinnell writes things also in that there raid. I don't know who else is there, but even if you don't want to say hello, that's okay. I'm saying hello to you. Awesome, dude. Terry, thank you so much for that 31 months subscription. Yeehaw. I am loving it. And let's see here. Kenny from the Cove, you have a big case of situation unawareness. My best guess is you probably maybe have heard of the first little situation. It's the big situation that nobody's heard of, but after this stream, you will feel like you've been covered in the knowledge. Before we do that, though, why don't we get the party started? All right, there we are. Let's see here. Good to see everybody here. Abso-flippin'-lutely, Terry. I totally agree. All right, so, I just remembered I didn't do something. Okay, y'all. I forgot to add a Lono Listening break, so we're gonna have to do that at some point. But, let's see here. Hopefully I did something. Oh, I was so busy doing things and stuff that I didn't remember to do things and stuff. So, oops. Today is just a little bit, I'm in a kerfuffle, shall we say. And Pocola tea in the house, that is great. You know, this is what I get for thinking, right? So, right before I got on stream, you know, right minutes before the 5 o'clock hour, I thought to myself, gosh, you know, I'm feeling a lot less spaced out these days. I must be getting over my allergies, or at least getting used to the allergy medicine. I don't feel nearly as stupid as I have the last few days. And then I go and I look and I say, oh, I didn't load the Lono Listening break. Oh, I didn't load the video that I made for you guys that I wanted you to see that was actually my video. And I didn't do a whole bunch of stuff. So, I guess maybe I am, as spaced as I used to be. I'm just getting used to being this stupid. And let's see here, hold on. Shock, is it hot enough that the hot of the pool is hot and the bottom is ice. I'm going to assume that the top of the pool is hot and the bottom is ice. You have a pool, Shock? Wow, okay. Yes, exactly, Terry. That is, you framed it perfectly. And then suddenly, stupidity struck. Precisely. And so, so we'll see how this is gonna roll. What do you know? All right, so, let's see here. Gina, you kind of rocked the cheats in Sims 4 to fix a build in the Magic Realm. It's totally legal and above board. I don't know what that means, but it sounds awesome. And, oh, okay, Shock, your mom had a pool, and your mom's pool is like that. Gotcha. Top of the pool, it's kind of what I hoped you meant, because otherwise it just didn't make sense. But all right, so let's see here. I might as well get into, because I had a video that I wanted to show you guys, but I don't have it. And because I need to figure out a way to load a Lono video, but I haven't yet, I guess we're just going to get into the things and the stuff, right? Right. I seem not the only doofus in this stream. Well, here's the thing. At least we all know we're in very good company when it comes to being a bit of a doofus. As everyone knows, or everyone should know, we don't strive for perfection here. We just go out and do it. We do our best, but perfection sometimes, you know, if you go chasing perfection, that paralyzes you. And so I have ceased chasing perfection and just decided to just do it, basically. And yeah, I know, I stole a logo, or a, what is that? It's not a logo. It's a catchphrase. It's a tagline. It's a advertising quirk. There's a word for that. Slogan. I just stole that slogan. Ooh, this is going to be a rough one, guys. This is going to be a rough one. You're just waiting for your next embarrassing mistake. Well, Fidel, I can't think of your first embarrassing mistake, so you've got a great record as far as I'm concerned. And at times we can be a whole regiment of space cadets. It's infectious sometimes. 1000%. So here's the deal. So we're going to get scattered again, but before I forget, I have, actually, hold on. I have in here a bunch of stuff. Oh. I didn't mean to do that. Buttons. Yeah. Sorry, guys. So, I have here a bunch of stuff. And some of the stuff I've got is ground chicharrones or whatever, which I guess you can use like breadcrumbs, but that's not really what I'm showing you. I mean, I just showed it to you, so whatever. But where did it go? I see it. There it is. Red can. Red can. Blue can. I went to my Micronesian market today to see if they had yellow can. They do not. So, yellow can will be ordered, but currently in stock I have the red can, and I have the traditional blue can. Now, I also have, yes, mechanically separated chicken in a can. That's exactly what I have. Hey, Andre, good to see you. I'm showing everyone what you got me. And then I also have maple flavored Spam. I'm going to tell you right now, this one's probably just going to stay in my, my emergency food cupboard, because I'm not really a fan of maple bacon. I've never had maple Spam, but what I do know is if it ends up in my emergency food cupboard, it does eventually get eaten. So I one day, of course, will have Spam that's maple flavored. This, though, is the real if and or butter. I don't know, dude. I don't know. I've never thought of doing this. Then again, I never thought of doing this either. But, yeah, it's very hard to find the yellow label. Basically, you have to be in Hawaii or you have to pay for Leilani's Attic. So I'll probably contact Leilani. Yep, that's the one. I'll probably contact Leilani's Attic and see what they've got. Okay, so, but what I do have right now is a product of Australia. It's very cute. And, wow. Okay, and it's corned beef with natural juices, Crown brand product of Australia. That's not helpful. That's not helpful. That's not helpful. So yeah, that's not helpful and it's not anything, but that's what one of them is. Oh, it's kind of a joke, the maple syrup spam. Yeah, because if not medium 7-Up, if Vanilla Coke Pepsi was still here, he might get a kick out of that. And then the other one is ox and palm corned beef. Now, you guys, I've never had corned beef before, ever. In fact, it kind of freaks me out, the idea. But looking at this Crown brand, I do see that the ingredients are remarkably not very processed. We've got beef, salt, and sodium nitrite. Now, I know that nitrates are bad, and you shouldn't eat a lot of them, but I have to say, in regards to processed food, beef, salt, sodium nitrate, that's the end. So that's a pretty mellow processing situation. Three ingredients. There we go. One of which we know you're not supposed to eat, which is the nitrites, but whatever. 3 ingredients. It's definitely not bad for a processed thing. And Pinnell, your mother used to make corned beef. Okay, so Picola tea, warning, coming up with a warning. One must prepare oneself for the canned corned beef texture. And Gina, yes, spam is basically indestructible and non-perishable, so that's why this spam is going to go in my my emergency food kit. I've got already a couple cans of spam in there anyway. I call it it's my pantry that's not in my kitchen, basically, because my kitchen doesn't have room enough for a pantry. So I use the cupboards that are in my living room that I got off of the street that are now on top of a bookshelf in my living room. I use that as my pantry and also my emergency canned food situations. And let's see here. And let's see here. So who was it? You've tasted corned beef from those companies. It's the best canned corned beef you've ever eaten. Okay, well, that's good to know, Andre. And Terry letting Gina know that ancient Sumerian spam labeled in cuneiform was recently discovered. Not even surprised, Terry. Now, Shot coming in with alternative nutrition facts, which may or may not be true, but nitrates are not an issue. Nitrosamines are an issue. Okay, your own spit has more nitrates in it than anything you'll ever put in your mouth, as does celery. Well, let me just tell you right now, I very rarely put celery in my mouth. Because I'm afraid of nitrates. No, not really. And actually, I'm not afraid of nitrates. I don't really care. I just know that they always say the nitrates and the nitrites and the That's what they say. And you can quote me on that. And, let's see here. Mama Sean, there's a YouTube video for long rice made with canned corned beef. It was a lady in New Zealand. Well, I can tell you right now that that is reasonable, because this Crown brand corned beef, it's packed for Heinz Waddies Limited, but it is a product of Australia, but the company is New Zealand. The Heinz Waddy is New Zealand company? I don't really know. Anyway, so clearly this is a New Zealand / Australian can of beef. The one that only has the three ingredients. Now this one is the one that I see all over the place in Asian marts. In the Micronesian mart that I went to today, they had a bunch of them. Ox and Palm is the brand that I'm more familiar with seeing, and their corned beef is a little bit different. It's corned beef, water, salt, sodium nitrate. Okay, so it's not very different. It just has water. It just has water. That's the only other difference. But this also, now that I look at it, is... Well, now, isn't this interesting? This is also for Heinz. So both of the... Wow, Heinz is just... So Heinz in Australia produces both of these, now that I'm reading the label. And... How very strange. Yeah, all right. And I don't know what the nutrition differences are. About 6 per serving, 140 calories, 150 calories, 140 calories per serving. This one's labeled chunky. I don't know what that means. So yeah, I don't know. Now here's what I do know, y'all. I don't know what to do with any of this. Do you cook it? Do you heat it up? Do you eat it from the can? Do you make sandwiches from it? I literally have no idea. Like, no idea. No idea what to do there. Yeah. And Heinz also owns all the bean companies. Well, not all the bean companies, but maybe all the bean companies are over there. I don't think that Heinz owns, you know, like Bush's beans. Oh, they probably do own Bush's beans. There's a brand I'm trying to think of. Goya. I don't think Heinz owns Goya. And Picola tea, chunky or not, they both have an interesting mouthfeel. Okay, you keep bringing that up. Oh, you meant English beans. Got it. Okay, so now, all right. I don't even know if I want the answers to these things. So, original chunky style, what does chunky mean? And then, what does not chunky mean? I don't really know. I'm gonna have to open these, aren't I? And then once I open them, I'm gonna be committed, so we'll just have to see. And Gina, you tried Spam only once. Oh, well, that's too bad. Because Spam is so tasty. Well, if you don't like pork, I guess Spam is not very tasty. But now let me ask you, Gina, did you have it cooked or did you have it cold? Because if you had it cold, I can definitely appreciate why you'd just be like, no, maybe not for me. You did have it cooked. Interesting. Okay. All right. Gosh darn it, Gina. Well, here's the deal, Gina. Next time we're sitting together and someone's serving Spam, or next time we're eating at a meal together where someone's serving Spam, you come sit next to me, and I'll eat all the Spam off your plate, and it'll make you look like you were very grateful for the Spam. That's what we're gonna have to do. Ah, you cooked it for Spam Musubi that time. Got it. Okay. And let's see here. So Picola tea, it's not the strands of meat you'd find in actual beef. It's more of a ground paste consistency. Oddly enough, Picola tea, that is what I expected, which is why chunky kind of scares me. And Kenny, the interwebs should be able to tell me how best to snort down those products. True, but I figured I would ask folks here who I know who actually have maybe cooked it before that can maybe give me some ideas. Like, you fried up with potatoes. That's how I fixed it. That never would have occurred to me, but I have potatoes. And Andre coming in, the texture of the Aussie and Kiwi corned beef is way better than the American brands of corned beef. Good to know. Good to know. And shock, I'll grind it from the can, cooked and even cold from the fridge if the goal is to not be hungry anymore. Okay, so it sounds then like, Shock, you've actually tried these corned beef things. I honestly, I can't even... I have never been curious about trying this stuff, y'all. I don't know, I mean, frankly, I'm not sure I'm going to be even brave enough to do this. But I've already sort of promised y'all that I'm going to do this. Whew, that corned beef one, though, I just might, that might take a while. And do they still have head cheese in the States? That always looked like a dog's dinner. I'm sure somewhere they must have it, Terry. I remember seeing it a lot more when I was a kid. I don't recall seeing it at all now, but I've got to believe that some deli somewhere still makes and sells it, because there's got to be some old ethnic person from the old country. I don't know what old country, but the old country where they ate that stuff. They're still alive, right? Okay, so see, Andre knows they still make fresh head cheese, so I don't know who they is, but apparently they do it, and yes, apparently they still make it here in the States. And Andre, the Vienna sausage is the worst of the lot. Good. And Mama Sean, oh my God, that reminds me. Okay, so Mama Sean just said, Terry, my grandma used to make head cheese. Trauma occurs when you open the freezer and there's a whole pig head in there. I can't tell you that trauma in that exact way, but I had a very similar trauma twice. So once I was at the brand new Safeway that had just opened in White Center, moved from its old location to a brand new location, and I was like, oh, let's check it out. So I was like, it was, I think, the first or second day that it was open. And I walk in and I'm looking at the meats and I'm looking at all the things that they've got. And as I'm perusing the meat counter and the meats, you know, the raw meat, not the deli, but the meat, I'm like, oh, look at those pork chops. Oh, look at those pork ribs. Oh my God, look at that pork head. Dude, there was a pig head on a styrofoam tray, wrapped in, you know, saran wrap or whatever they wrap your meat with, on, like, head face to face, right there on the shelf, looking right back at me. And I'll tell you what, yo, pig heads are bigger than my head. Pig heads are huge. And I will tell you right now, I jumped back and made a noise because I did not anticipate seeing an entire pig's head on the shelf of the butcher shop. Okay, it just was not something I've ever seen. Now, the next time that trauma happened, I was in an Asian mart, opened the freezer door, pig head. I was a little bit less frightened by that because I'd already experienced that trauma to begin with. But, yeah, the Safeway, I just did not have any. And yeah, Mama Sean, Uwajimaya usually had them. Totally, yeah. And the Hong Kong market where I had my second pig head experience, they have them as well. I was not as freaked out there. And so, but the first time I saw it, I was freaked out. And, Picola tea. Okay, there we go. In Okinawa, they commonly sell pig face at the butcher shops. Not the head, just the face. I've seen plenty snout at the Asian marts. I will tell you that. And let's see here. Pnell giving me a clue. Loved the corned beef sandwiches at Druxy's here, but afraid it wouldn't do with your tummy now. Fair enough. And Andre, yes, there is a Safeway in White Center. There absolutely is. You just didn't go up Roxbury far enough. Roxbury, if you, and are you sure it wasn't a boar's head? In music, no, but I can say it did not have tusks, which I always associate with boars, but I don't know if that's really a thing. And in order to sell stuff at a Safeway, you have to come from like a legitimate, like you're not allowed to sell wild caught animals at the grocery store. And so unless it's like a farmed boar, I would think the likelihood of it being a pig's head versus a boar's head would be higher. But actually, no, I don't know. I'm not sure it wasn't a boar's head. But I do know it was huge. It was huge, dude. Huge. Right, Safeway has a no roadkill policy. Exactly. Well, and not only Safeway, actually, and I happen to know this because just the other day, I was at my butcher shop and getting a freezer full of meat, and somebody in there was asking if they ever sold bear sausage, because they got venison sausage, they've got elk sausage, they've got a bunch of different stuff. So they're like, do you ever sell bear sausage? And the guys behind the counter said, no, we're not allowed to sell the bear sausage, because in order to get the bear, you have to hunt it, and we aren't allowed to sell to the public any privately killed animal. We have to only sell farmed animals. And I don't know of any place that farms bears. I know of places that have elk farms, bison farms, venison farms, but I've never heard of a bear farm, and apparently neither did the butcher. Didn't know of one. So the butcher pretty much said, you will never see bear sausage coming out of our facility. And so let's see here. Mama Sean, you like to put the corned beef on the smoker, have not used the canned corned beef ever. Well, yeah, see, and Mama Sean, that's, when I think of corned beef, I think of it, it's, it's a brisket, only it's brined and treated differently than how you barbecue it, right? Bacola 2, there you go. Yeah, nudist colonies don't count as bear farms. That's cute. That's funny. That is funny. And Bacola T, bear farms are where retired Chippendale dancers go. All right, yep, there you have it. There you have it. it's when they all finally come out as gay and they go to the bear farm. And Kenny, I could have asked to see their bear sausage, just see their action. I could have, but no. I don't, no. I didn't want to, I wouldn't want to see their bear sausage. And so, yeah, Mama Sean, the canned stuff, I don't think you could smoke it the way you could, like, a brisket to make that smoked corned beef. And lots of Samoan recipes for corned beef, also a few Fijian recipes, because not enough room for cows on those islands. Yeah, that actually totally makes sense. And let's see here. You want to get some bulgogi or the teriyaki tri-tip at that butcher shop in Burien, but I needed to have a barbecue next time you're up there to get a little burner and go down to Seahurst and cook it up. Oh, yep, there you go. Exactly. Brisket. Yes, indeedy. And, yeah. Oh, good, Dr. Steve. I'm glad you're getting a chuckle out there. So, yeah, I don't know when and if this is going to happen, but we have another possibility for, this is a lot of meat to taste test, y'all. I'm going to have some really big corned beef dishes planned after I open those cans. And thank you so much, Andre, for gifting that sub to, let's see, it looks like X-Flobox. No, X-Flob. How about X-Flob X? How about just Flob? We're just going to say Flob. That's what we're going to say. Yes, indeed. And let's see here. Kenny from the Cove. You're wearing your sleeve t-shirt that says you're exercising your right to bear arms. There you have it. My my life is pretty much lived bearing arms, that's for sure. And yeah, next potluck, not gonna know what hit them. Exactly. And whoa, okay, Terry in Scotland is coming in with pig's heads, maybe ordered online in the UK at HG Walter. Sells them for £10. Wow, that actually seems kind of cheap, dude. £10. And, oh, Mama Sean. Yeah, Mama Sean. Yeah, I could. Mama Sean's like, I imagine you could freeze it after you open it. You know what? I imagine you're right. I don't know why y'all think I have a freezer. Not like you can see the back of my freezer right here, over my shoulder. Yeah, I don't know what made you guys think I had a freezer. I don't know. I'm fancy like that. Have a freezer. A freezer? Why, that's almost just common sense. Yeah. And let's see here. Do a YouTube video of opening the can and making a recipe in front of us. That's an idea. I really don't know if I like the idea, but that is an idea. You know, I have toyed with that concept, but getting the right angles of the food, y'all don't know how tricky it is to get good shots of food prep, right? If you're only one person with one camera, or even if you've got multiple cameras, I will think about that, but I definitely am not going to promise it. And let's see here, Terry in Scotland. Oh, excuse me. Sorry about that, guys. According to HG, thanks to a revival in nose to tail, eating pig's head are a popular delicacy and great for making brawn. Terry in Scotland. What the flying fork is brawn? Because I know brawn versus brains, and I know brawny, the kind of paper towel, but it sounds like they're talking about something you put in your mouth. What is brawn? Does anyone know what is a brawn? I'm not saying that that everyone should know, and I'm certainly not suggesting that. Oh, brawn is basically head cheese. Got it. Okay. And let's see here, Kenny. Now we know why aliens are always flying in and messing with us. They envy our superior meat substances technology. And Amy's like, have someone else shoot it while you show us opening the can. I could, but that would require having somebody come to my house, and I generally try to avoid that at all costs. And so, okay, Terry coming in, brawn, noun, food, UK, US, head cheese, meat from the head of a pig, cooked and pressed into a block. Got it. Now, here's the funny thing, y'all, about head cheese. I abso-flippin-lutely don't think head cheese looks good. On the other hand, I have been known to brag about my when I process my meats and I cook my bones. I like to cook my bones down, my broth, so when it's cold, it turns into gelatin. And then sometimes I'll even just eat the cold meat gelatin with maybe pieces of cold meat in it. And if you're starting to pick up what I'm laying down, that's basically head cheese, right? I mean, isn't that basically head cheese? I don't know. That's just what I'm thinking. And then, hey, see you, Honda, coming in. Yes, I know. Once again, talking about food. The reason why we got started on the food was to let everybody know that 2 of the 3 cans have been acquired. We've got blue can and we've got red can. Now I need to get yellow can. And then we will have our Vienna sausage torture contest. We get to see if they actually taste alike or different or better or worse. And then, because Andre did all sorts of things, he also bought some oxen palm and corn and other brand, Crown brand. So now we were talking about corned beef. And then, and this seems actually kind of logical, and then we went from corned beef to head cheese. And honestly, sometimes our chatter scatters in the strangest ways, but this one I feel like has a very clear processed meat path. From Vienna sausages to corned beef to head cheese. I don't think anybody needs to question how we got to this particular Yeah, this particular topic. And so let's see what we got. It's only head cheese if you're using the head. Well, right. But I guess my point though is, Shock, it's like, it's still meat in aspic, right? You know, it's like, why am I so freaked out about head cheese when I basically eat the same thing just from a different part of the body? And Andre, your mom and grandma loved head cheese, and your mom also loved pickled pig feet. Yeah, I've seen those in the store, and I just don't know. I can honestly maybe see myself eating chicken feet in a Chinese food restaurant, but those pickled pig's feet, I just don't know if I could do it. But my mom loved those stupid herring things too. Blah. Blah. By the way, you can quote me on that. Blah. Let's see here. Aspic is basically all of that but fancy. You know it. And you do know there's one more kind of Libby's Vienna sausage, that being barbecue. This isn't a test of Libby's sausage. This isn't a taste test for Libby's sausages. Libby's could have about 18,453 flavors of sausages. That's not the point. The point is there a difference between the yellow and the blue can? And the only reason why the red can got brought into it is because a lot of people on the Hawaii page were mentioning that they prefer the yellow can over both of them, and it's in the running because I don't understand how this, whose first ingredient is chicken, and the yellow can, whose first ingredient is chicken, is going to be that much different than this can of chicken and their first ingredient, also mechanically separated chicken. So the barbecue is of no interest to me in any way, shape, or form, because we're pretty sure that the barbecue is gonna taste different. That's, at least it's supposed to, right? Right. Yes. So, let's see here. What did I miss while I was babbling? And Shock, yes, there we go. Clear processed meat path should show up in the HR manual at my company. And Kenny, anybody else here have the spam song going through their head? Yeah, could be. And exactly, Bacolity, head cheese is it because butt cheese does not have the same appeal. And, oh no, Terry in Scotland, I am not going on a pig hunt. And yes, exactly, Andre, he searched all the places except for the Micronesian market, most likely because he didn't know where the Micronesian market is. Fair enough, most people don't. But yeah, he went to Uwajimaya in Renton, and then I don't know what Filipino store he went to, because I didn't know there was one in Renton, but I'm not surprised. And then he went to Ranch 99, which, honestly, I don't know what Ranch 99 is. I think Ranch 99, let me rephrase that, I do know what it is, but I think it's more of a pan-Asian store, not a specific kind. And there was no yellow cans. No yellow cans. So, let's see here. C. Honda, since you've never had Vienna sausage, the taste test could be skewed. I don't know. See, now you bring up a good question, C. Honda. I also think that, I need to say hi to Trail Dust. Sorry about the pickled pig feet talk. Yeah, your timing wasn't as great this time as it was last time when you came in at all of the happy, nice people. And, Pacolity, surely the Vienna sausage tasting will include plain crackers for palate cleansing between bites. Oh yes, we will definitely have, a palate cleanser. And in, yeah, okay, Andre, that's what I thought. Ranch 99 is all the kinds of Asian. Yeah, including, like, Indian Asian and, from the subcontinent all the way across the continent to the islands. That kind Asian. That big swath of land and islands. See, Honda, as I was trying to say before I distracted my own self, I feel like maybe, the fact that I haven't tasted any of them before might give me a more neutral palate to determine whether or not things taste the same or different. Because here's the deal, to remind everyone, or for those who weren't here for the beginning of how did we even get obsessed with yellow can, blue can, the ingredients between the yellow can and the blue can are almost identical. the the distributors who handle the products say that they're identical. The manufacturer makes no claims that they're identical and has two very different parts of their website dedicated to talking about each individual product as though it were different. Now, a lot of people in my Hawaiian groups have very strong opinions that yellow can is better than blue can. Equally speaking, lots of people in my Hawaiian groups have the opinion that there is no difference between the yellow can or the blue can. It's all psychological. And then, even more people say, forget your yellow can, blue can argument. The red can is the best. And trail dust. Blue can, yellow can, are these political parties? No. These are Vienna sausages. Vienna sausages. And in the on the continental United States, you can only get the blue can Vienna sausage as the traditional mainstay. I mean, there's flavored ones, and then there's the chicken or whatever. But the yellow can is what they have in Hawaii. And the yellow can is only sold in Hawaii. And so it's only familiar to people from Hawaii. And so when people from Hawaii move to the continental United States, they get really bummed that they can't find what they want and they can only find this. And so what I want to know is, are all of these Hawaiians who think it's the same right? Are all of these Hawaiians who think it's different right? Right? So that is my situation. Now, see, Honda is coming in with what would have been one of my next questions about this topic, which is, I think if you eat it cold, you'll hate them all just the same. Maybe you can develop your taste for it. So, perhaps, and that does answer my question, which is, should I cook these or do I just eat them out of a can? Sounds like I need to cook these. I can do that. I can definitely do that. And Pinnell, probably No Name, has a can. No, these are all Libby's. If you go to Libby's, the Libby's Meat Company website, they will show you all of their different kinds of Vienna sausages. This is chicken Vienna sausage. This is just regular Vienna sausage. And then the Hawaiian one, the yellow can, is also Libby's Vienna sausage, not chicken. It just says Vienna sausage. And so these are all Libby's brands. All Libby's brands that I'm talking about. Because you can get different Vienna sausage brands. There's Hormel. There's other ones that I'm not going to tell you because I can't remember because I forgot. But Libby's is what we're talking about. Seafood City Supermarket is the Filipino, not in Renton, but in Tukwila. That makes way more sense. I knew about Seafood City, but that was definitely not Renton. And let's see here. One of your Hanabata days is seeing Mom heat a can of Vienna sausages in a blue cornflower corningware pot. There you go. There you go. Exactly. Sausages, perfectly portioned for serving unwanted guests. That is exactly it. That is 100% it. And okay, we will heat them before I cook. We're gonna heat them before I cook them, y'all. And then after I cook them, then I'll try them. All right, Gil, you haven't had them since small kid time. Yeah. Most people, I think, can say the same thing. And perhaps when I was a little kid, I tried them. I just don't remember. I don't know. But here we've got Terry singing a song about Libby's on the label, and you'll like it on your table. There we have it. And all right, you guys, so you prefer Myers sausages from Elgin, Texas. Yeah, anytime you can get your meat more locally owned and operated, it's much better. And you can't get enough of this sausage stuff. No, apparently we can't. It's thanks to Andre, because he brought in the canned meats. So, so I got a pile full of canned meat right here. Um, but you guys, okay, so enough about the sausages, unless we want to keep talking about them. Now I'm going to show you a video that hopefully I uploaded while I was talking to you guys. And it's a video that I made this last weekend. And I honestly don't know how this guy did this. It happened in front of my house, and I truly don't know. I don't know. I mean, I am going to assume that there was alcohol involved. I mean, I am gonna assume it is alcohol and there's alcohol involved. And Pussycat, yes, look for the yellow can. I am fairly certain that you will not find it. But it's still kind of fun to have a quest. And it's good to see you, Pussycat. And by the way, Pussycat, Leo was in last night, and he had a selection of foods to eat. And as it turns out, he prefers the duck-flavored dry cat food as opposed to the chicken-flavored, which is very good because Dusty can't have the chicken-flavored, so I'm going to have to phase that out of my food rotation. So Leo is going to be just fine after we phased out the new food. I just thought you would like to know. And Kenny from the Cove, all this shade I'm throwing on Spam, Vienna sausages and canned meats from up on my culinary high horse. Here I am. See, here I sit eating an Oscar Mayer bologna sandwich. Exactly. It makes you an Oscar Mayer wiener. Exactly, Shock. But Kenny, I have to ask, do you have the most perfect Oscar Mayer sandwich? Because in my opinion, there's really only one way to make a bologna sandwich. First off, you have to start with Oscar Mayer. Second off, you have to have white bread. Third off, you have to have French's yellow mustard. Second off, you have to have American cheese slices. Okay, I don't know how many numbers we've got, but we've got our bread, we've got our mustard, we've got our bologna, we've got our American cheese slice, and we might even have another thing of mustard. But basically, mustard, American cheese, bologna, white bread is how a bologna cheese sandwich is supposed to be in my world. Your world might have a different reality, but my world is white bread. And I don't fry my bologna. I mean, I should, but I don't. Let's see here. Shock, your friend Steve used to get that slice in the store, bologna for volleyball turkouts. Awesome sauce. Weird, dude. And there you go, Trail Dust. Well, all of us are talking about gourmet head cheese. I really think that that's a stretch. You're heating up a frozen dinner. And you are eating the perfect bologna sandwich because that's how you make a bologna sandwich. Kenny, I knew that you had to be eating the most perfect bologna sandwich because that's basically the only option. When you make a bologna sandwich, that's how you make them. That's how you make them. That's the rules. I don't make the rules. I don't make them. Sometimes I don't follow them, but when it comes to bologna sandwiches, I follow. But Trail Dust, I am curious what your frozen dinner is because, sometimes frozen dinners hit the spot just perfectly. I spent an entire year, every single Monday night, I ate a Marie Callender's turkey pot pie. After about a year, I eventually got very tired of them, but then like maybe a year later, I wanted one again. So sometimes those frozen dinners are just, they really know how to hit the right spot. And I'll tell you what, dude, hitting the right spot is not what this guy did. This guy did everything but hit the right spot. I don't know what he did, but he ended up sideways. So, forgive this bad footage. It's dark. I don't know how to use my cell phone camera in the dark, and the like, but here we go. Let's just see. This was a 25-minute ordeal. I cut it down to 3.5 minutes. So yeah, let's just see what happened in my neighborhood this last weekend.
Mitchell! Hey! Go Mitchell! Go Mitchell right now! Hey, you know where Mitchell got it from?
So, dude was, I didn't catch this. I didn't put this part in the video, but when dude was waiting for the tow truck driver to, rewrite him, he's all to his girlfriend. It's like $99 a month. That's my insurance. We get this, blah blah blah. And his girlfriend was on the yard. She's like, yeah, was $99 a month. And so clearly, she was not impressed with his shenanigans. In fact, she was super ticked. I could tell that she had really wanted to go home and didn't really want to be at the party, because she was just like, well, now how are we going to get home? And he was like, well, we're not. We're staying here. And I don't know how that conversation ended. I went inside. But yeah, the crowd did go wild. He somehow, Gina, yes, he somehow flipped his truck. I still don't know how. I still, to this moment, have no... I don't... The only thing I can think of, y'all, is... guys, I don't know. The only thing I can think of is... He... accidentally... He hit the gas hard enough that he went and launched himself over the ditch and got one wheel on the embankment, and then he overcorrected. Yeah, there's a ditch by that rise. Yeah, and so he then overcorrected, thinking he could turn his way out of it, but because that one wheel was already elevated and the truck had been boosted, it was a lifted truck already, so it was already topper heavier than it should be. It just flipped over. I don't really know. All I know is I heard a really loud noise maybe 20 minutes prior to that video being taken, and I was wondering, wow, what are my neighbors doing this late at night? Because it sounded like a bunch of metal being moved. And as it turns out, it was a bunch of metal being moved. But I didn't give any thought of it. But then I got up to do whatever, and I saw a bunch of flashing red and white lights, and I was like, oh, what's going on there? So because I'm nosy, I opened my front door, and I saw it, and I was like, oh, I'm going to get my camera now. And so I went and got the camera. And if don't pickups flip easy, I have no idea. And Mama Sean, I wonder how the suspension on that truck is now. I'm thinking not as good as it was before. And exactly, man. See where you go, Andre. You got a wireless mic. I went to video me walking down the Sears Beach, and yeah, you're breathing so hard, or the mic was too close. Exactly. I sound like Darth Vader whenever I do. I don't know how Photo Luke does it. He must have his camera super. I don't know how Photo Luke does it, because every time I try to film myself doing anything, all you hear is that's all you hear, and it's embarrassing is what it is. And let's see here. Kenny, you couldn't tell you if anything interesting like that happened in your neighborhood. You spent your Saturday night at an ex-girlfriend's house trying to get her interested in Shoresy on Hulu. I'm going to go out on a limb and say she wasn't nearly as interested as you were, judging by how you just phrased that whole situation. And excuse me, Gil, okay, verifying, yeah, top heavy trucks flip easier and the like, just like Andre's saying, yep, those monster trucks flip real easy. And yeah, it does look like nobody got hurt, so that was good. So that was definitely good. But okay, y'all, while I was, and yes, Shaq, I said y'all, I've said y'all on more than one occasion, and I said it again right now. But while I was showing you the truck video, I intended to load a Lono video, but I didn't do that because I was watching the truck video. I don't know why I was watching the truck video. I totally had seen that video a million times. I edited it, for goodness sake. But, so now what we're gonna do is we're going to, there we go, that's what we're gonna do. Alright, we're gonna do that. And then we're gonna do this. No, we're gonna do that. And then we're going to find some things and stuff. I don't know what we're gonna find. We're just gonna go grab something. Let's see what our Lono Listening break will be today. Let's see what it will be. I know what it will be. This will be for Pussycat, because Pussycat said that he played this song on his guitar a few weeks ago. And yeah, there we go. That's what we're gonna do. So hopefully things will work out the way it's supposed to do. And now we're going to listen. Does Lono have a spam song? No, but he does have a spam drop that he made for Andy Boomatai's Daily Pigeon Live. Speaking of which, y'all, if we manage to get our tech together, in theory, I might be on the Daily Pigeon Live tomorrow. But don't hold your breath. I'm not promising anything. We're going to work out the ironing. We're going to work out the details. I don't really know what I'm trying to say. We're going to work out the technical details after the stream tonight. So, right now, it's unknown. And after the stream, we'll figure it out. And if we don't figure it out, well, then I'm not going to be there. Well, I mean, I'll be there, but I won't be there. So we'll see if I'm there. And yeah, iron out the details. There we go. Work out the details of the ironing. All these things. We're going to do all of these things. Andy knows how to iron. So it's something he does very well. He'll be able to give me some pro tips. Yeah. All right. But instead of listening to me babble, we're going to listen to Lono Listening Break. And it's going to be This Setting Sun. Mentioned by Pussycat, I think last stream. All right. Let's do it. Boop. right, sorry about that. Didn't mean to take so long to get back to the situation, but yes, exactly. Very, very beautiful song. And let's see here. Definitely good to know about the recipes for the corned beef in a can, because like I said earlier on this stream, I have no idea how to cook that. But Kenny from the Cove, you doubt that a driverless taxi will be any more dangerous than a regular taxi in Hidalgo, Mexico. Not the best cab ride you ever had, but at least you all lived. Exactly, and maybe you even got there fast. I don't really know. But what I do know is I want to teach you something about the East Coast and history that you might not want to know. Or, it's not that you don't want to know it, it's just that you don't know it. And maybe you do know it, but maybe you don't. Anyway, have you guys ever heard of the Boston Massacre? First off, actually, legit question. Have you guys ever heard of the Boston Massacre? Because the Boston Massacre is like a thing that, quite honestly, I thought, oops, oh no, hold on. Oh no, stop. There we go. I thought that, that everybody had heard of the Boston Massacre, but apparently not everybody's heard of the Boston Massacre. Somebody who I thought was actually quite smart had never heard of it, and he was kind of offended that everybody around him had heard of it, and he felt stupid, but oh well, whatever. That's, you know, yes. And let's see here. Yes, you have heard of the Boston Massacre. First man killed was a black man. I don't know about that. I mean, I'm not surprised, but I don't know about that. What I do know is the soldiers, let's see here. The victims, there was, okay. Oh my goodness. Oh my God. There was only 5 victims of the Boston Massacre. And the Boston Massacre took place, actually, hold on here. I need to get rid of something here. What's this? That's the one I need to get rid of. Wait, hold on. Okay, there we go. All right, so the Boston Massacre took place in 1777, and it was when a bunch of British soldiers, when a bunch of British soldiers, actually, what it started out as, there was this one lone British soldier dude who was all, you know, doing his guard duty at wherever he was doing his guard duty, and then a bunch of the Boston people, and this was a British soldier guy. A bunch of Bostonians, you know, Americans, before America was America, but, you know, they surrounded him, started heckling him, throwing objects at him, so he called in for reinforcements. The brouhaha escalated, and eventually the soldiers fired randomly into the crowd, killing 5 people. This did not help with the Boston English tensions that were only mounting more and more through the days and years that had the years that had been building up. And so let's see here. And so this gentleman who you may have heard of, called Samuel Adams, the day after the Boston Massacre, he led, as a member of the Sons of Liberty, he led the funeral procession for the first 4 victims of the massacre. Apparently they were Samuel Gray, Samuel Maverick, James Caldwell, and Crispus Attucks. And those were the first 4 victims. And in this political move, Adams consciously guided the procession through Boston using pageantry to vilify British oppression festering since the early 1760s, and to promote colonial unity over the British usurpation of rights. And so the soldiers eventually did get arrested, and they were tried, and eventually they actually were acquitted, because, you know, stuff that happens during wartime stuff, and it was kind of wartime stuff, well, you know, things get swept under the table. So okay. Let's see here. You yourself are a Caldwell, says Terry, and Shock. The Liberty Trees are on campus of what is now the Langley Research Center in Virginia, who now has the Sons of Liberty song, from Disney movie stuck in their head. I don't even know what song you're referring to. But, all right, you guys. So, the Boston Massacre, 5 people dead. 5, that's all, 5. But we Most of us have heard of it. Now, I have to ask you, have you heard of the Boston Molasses tank, the Molasses tank explosion? And 5 is a lot in those days. Johnny Tremaine says, I don't know. Johnny Tremaine? I thought that was a World War I reference. I don't know what Johnny Tremaine is. But the question now, though, I have is, have you guys heard of the Molasses disaster? Because most people don't know about the Molasses disaster of Boston. It killed over 200 people. It happened in 1919. And and there was a 2.3 million gallons of molasses that here we go, of molasses that exploded from the tank. And the molasses was being stored in this tank by a distillery company. And the distillery company basically loaded up their molasses tank because they were trying to beat prohibition. At least that's the hypothesis. Unfortunately, the tank was not built up to spec. And so the tank, when it failed, the rivets started exploding to such a rapid degree that it sounded like machine gun fire. And Terry in Scotland, the Great Molasses Flood, known as the Boston Molasses Disaster, was a disaster that occurred on Wednesday, January 15th, 1919, in the North End neighborhood of Boston, Massachusetts. And you heard of molasses too, but hard to be serious. Well, it was serious. Over 200 people, men, women, and children died. Horses died. Dogs died. Everybody basically drowned in it. And the more they struggled, the deeper into the molasses they got pulled, and they basically suffocated. They were so glazed that most people were not able to be identified. And some of the people were washed away into the harbor, and some of the victims, and they weren't found until months and months later. And so here's the deal. The tank had been filled to capacity only 8 times previously. And unfortunately, in the day before this happened, the temperatures went from 2 degrees Fahrenheit to 41 degrees Fahrenheit. So there was a massive temperature change, and with the increase in temperature comes an increase in pressure. And since the molasses was there fermenting, there was already a lot of carbon dioxide gas and pressure from that. Then they went and added some warmer molasses on top of it, and they had to warm the molasses in order to reduce its viscosity to make it pour into the tank. And the tank was so poorly made that there was no an inquiry after the disaster revealed that the person who designed this neglected basic safety tests while overseeing construction of the tank, such as filling it with water insufficient to check for leaks, and ignoring warning signs such as groaning noises each time the tank was filled. He had no architectural or engineering experience. When filled with molasses, the tank leaked so badly that they just painted it brown to hide the leakage. And local residents collected leaked molasses from their homes off of that tank prior to the flooding. So huge disaster. And as you can see, it took over many, gosh darn it, there we go. This is what I want to go backwards. Stop. It took that little red circle at the top. That is basically where the entirety of the molasses spread. And I know people ask why we need safety laws, and it's like, yeah, this is why we need safety laws. Terry in Scotland, what a sticky way to go. Abso-flippin'-lutely. They did rescue a bunch of people, but like I said, hundreds of people perished, and no, go back. Oh, god dang it. Go back. Go back. Go back. Go back. There we go. Oh my God, come on. Really? Okay, well, here's the deal. I'm trying to show you the picture of the actual tank. Exactly. They half-assed it, Gina. And Lady Misty, good to see you. We are talking about the Great Molasses Flood of Boston in 1919. And I'm trying to get to a picture. That picture right there. That picture is of the tank itself. That is the tank that exploded. That tank was basically full, and nothing but sticky molasses came pouring out. And I believe Terry in Scotland gave us some of the details. It was estimated, let's see here. It was estimated 25-foot wave at its peak. 25-foot wave of molasses heading 35 miles an hour. Okay, I lied. They didn't kill 200. It killed 21 people. It injured 150. And the event entered local folklore. Residents reported for decades afterwards that area smelled like molasses whenever it got hot. And so, yes, indeed, Terry, what is it? The company claimed that the tank had been blown up by anarchists. Yeah, I don't think so. 165 because some of the alcohol produced was to be used in making munitions, but a court-appointed auditor found USIA responsible after 3 years of hearings, and the company did absolutely pay $628,000. That's $11 million in 2023 dollars. And relatives reportedly got $7,000 per victim, equivalent to about $123 per in today's dollars. And so, Nicola T, there's no way they could sugarcoat the truth about this disaster, or could they? And Pussycat, I thought molasses was slow to pour. I guess when it's put under, when it's shot, when it's coming from an explosion, I guess maybe 35 miles an hour is slow, but 35 miles an hour is mighty, mighty fast, for me. And you know, Picola too, good flippin' point. Molasses in January, not so slow now, eh? That's exactly true. And for those of you who don't maybe understand the point of that comment, some of us grew up with parents who had phrases like, that's slower than molasses going uphill in January, or that's slower than molasses in January. And I have to wonder if that phrase came from that incident. I've never connected the dots, but I do have to wonder. And yes, indeed, hot molasses is not slow. And Andre, that is precisely it. They had heated some of the molasses because the thing is the tank had some molasses in it, right? And it was like 2 degrees. And then within a day, 2-degree weather turned to 41-degree weather. So suddenly that molasses is rapidly heating up. And then they put more warm molasses on top of the rapidly heating molasses, but even hotter molasses, because you have to heat the molasses to make the molasses flow. And they were filling the tank, so the molasses had to be heated so it could flow in the tank and into the tank. And afterwards, it just backfired all over the place. And Andre coming in, the common metaphor for anything slow is slower than molasses in January. And it is referring to the Boston molasses disaster. Well, shoot, gosh darn, heck, fork. I've been saying that phrase my entire life, and I did not know about the Boston molasses disaster until just a few years ago. And let's see here. Benel, I was slow as molasses in January as a kid. Now, probably slower. Exactly. And let's see here, Terry in Scotland. Yes, that's exactly it. Cleanup crews use salt water from a fireboat to wash away the molasses and sand to absorb it. And the harbor was brown with molasses until summer. The cleanup in the immediate area took several weeks. But it even took longer to clean up the rest of Boston, because even though even though that area was a relatively tiny piece of Boston that got covered in the sticky goo, you know how everybody is. You know how everybody does. They want to go see. So people from all over Boston would trek to the Molasses disaster site. They would get sticky shoes, sticky clothes, sticky everything. And then they would take the train and the carriage and the sidewalks and they would come back home. And so pretty soon, the entire city of Boston was basically a little bit sticky. Every doorknob, every sidewalk, every, windowsill that someone leaned on was sticky. And because of all of the people who'd gone to see it and then basically tracked the syrup back into their own homes. It's totally sticky fingers. And Kenny from the Cove, as a wee kid, you thought, why are moles so slow in January? Isn't it funny how little kid brains just do that? Isn't that just so bizarre? And exactly, Shock, that's exactly what happened. A little bit of sunshine, a little bit of fermentation, and pretty soon you got yourself an industrial disaster. That is precisely it. And Andre, I hadn't thought about that either, but yeah, think about being traumatized by the smell of molasses syrup for the rest of your lives like that. Totally. And Pussycat, that's the size of a gas refinery tank. Yeah, basically it's 2.3 million gallons or 12,000 metric tons. I didn't know that there was a difference between regular tons and metric tons, but apparently there is, and metric tons are bigger. And let's see here. You totally glossed over the significance of the second part of that word. Molasses, right, not mole asses. It's molasses. And Pussycat, don't quote me on this, but when you ask where does all that molasses come from, I think you make molasses from sugar, don't you? And I know I got the 2 3-minute warnings, but I think molasses is a byproduct of sugar, making sugar. Because now this is where I might be making things up, but I think brown sugar is basically white sugar after it's been refined with molasses re-added back to it. So yeah, molasses is partially processed sugar, and I'm gonna assume they got the sugar from the sugar cane, not like beets, but I truly don't know. And given the fact that it was 1919, I would assume that maybe it might have came from Hawaii, because 1919, I think, is, a pretty Hawaiian plantation era. But Andre's bringing up a way better, more logical solution. Most likely Caribbean sugar, because Caribbean is way easier to access the East Coast and the like. So I am going to retract my Hawaii guess and say Caribbean, way more likely. And if you ever hear some Texans say molasses, you'll be able to understand how your mind went there as a kid. Not even shocked at all. All right, you guys, we've got about 1 minute left to the bottom of the hour, which means we definitely need to wrap it up. And I need to tell you guys something very important, which is there's going to be no movie this Saturday. This Saturday, I have an event, I have an event that I have to go to. I'm trying to tell you what it is. Words are not happening. One of my friends is turning 65, and 65 is a really big deal. It means he can start collecting Social Security. And he's very interested in collecting Social Security. So I will be celebrating a 65th birthday on Saturday. We will not have Statterbox at the cinema. So you guys are free this Saturday to go watch whatever movie you want. Or you're free to not watch whatever movie you don't want to watch. And that is very important news that I had to let you guys know before I forgot. All right. Pussycat, you're going to be 65 in July. Awesome. And you'll be able to take Social Security too if you want. And let's see here. What else? Oh, I want to thank my moderators, of course. And I want to thank the chatters, of course, and I want to thank the resubbers and the gift subbers, and thank you so much for the biddies. And let's see here. Don't forget on Andy on Thursday, so I don't have to watch the debate. I didn't even know that there was a debate, but that's okay. Let's see here. But that is right. If you're going to be around tomorrow, that is Thursday, to watch Daily Pigeon Live, I may or may not be there. I mean, I'll be there, but I might be there. We're going to find that out in a few hours after we iron out some details, but we already talked about that. All right, so happy early birthday, Puzzycat. I'm sure we'll be able to wish you happy birthday closer to the real date. And you turned over 65 yesterday. Well, that's good for you, E-Music. Happy over 65 yesterday. And anybody else who might have done a 65 real near here, happy 65. We will see each other next Sunday, 5 p.m. West Coast time. Perhaps we'll see each other tomorrow. We'll see. And then we'll see each other again on Wednesday. All right, you guys. Have yourself a great night. Talk to each other soon. Take care.